Hey guys, and welcome to another jungle tier list video. This is for patch 9.9 following the Scuttle Crab changes. If you're not aware, Scuttle Crab now spawns at 3 minutes 15 seconds, so a lot of different doors have opened and a lot of different doors have closed. Other than that, I hope you know this video. If you're interested in every patch by patch tier list, make sure to sub to my Patreon, link above, and hope you enjoy this video. Much love. Thanks for watching. Starting off with the high-low tier list, in the S tier we have Kindred, Karthus, and Nunu. Kindred has not really been touched as a jungler. The only change they've made is that the Scuttle Mark first one spawns at 3 minutes 15 with the first Scuttle Crab, so you can't really get that free mark or that 50-50. And as far as the Conqueror jungler goes, she hasn't been nerfed either. Rek'Sai and Hecarim are probably the two best junglers last batch. Now they're not as high up on the list as you can see. So Kindred's still definitely in a really good spot and has a lot of late game potential, free scaling, and has less room to fight early game in order to fall behind. As far as Karthus goes, he's still one of the best scalers in the game, and he just gets way more opportunity to scale with the removal of Scuttle Crab, less opportunity to fight early game crabs, same as Kindred, and he just gets a freely farm and full clear reverse and just get free buffs, etc. His clear is too strong and he's really hard to deny, and I believe his full clear is one of the fastest, if not the fastest. Finally, as far as Nunu goes, he is one of the best utility junglers in the game. He has a execute like Cho'Gath Feast on his Q, so he can just secure Drakes and Barons pretty freely. And he's just one of those champs that even if he's behind, he still has use because he's not going to be 100 to 0'd. And even when ahead, he's just that much better. His only issue is like, going for sieges, going for turret plates, etc. He's a melee champ, so it's kind of harder to do that. But as far as like the long run of the game, he's probably one of the best junglers as far as winning or losing. So he's just really hard to counter. In the A tier list, we have Evelynn, Kha'Zix, Kayn, Sejuani, and Hecarim. Starting off with Evelynn, she's been in a pretty good spot. She scales pretty well. She has 100 to 0 potential on pretty much any champion, even if they're tanks. But her issue has been, again, early game, Scuttle Crabs, etc. Another champ just becomes buffs for free, really. And she will probably be seeing some buffs soon in terms of the AP jungle item getting buffed. It's been confirmed by Riot. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see her in the S tier list very soon. As far as Kha'Zix and Kayn go, they're both pretty similar champions. They don't really want to fight till they're 6 or have their forms. And it's another patch again. No early game fights, not really forced, and odds are they get a free Scuttle Crab instead of getting double crabbed. And both Kha'Zix and Kayn have really good red side clears and don't use that much mana, so it just makes them that much more stronger. And the fact that they can just start Raptor without getting a leash just makes them very efficient right now. But again, obviously don't scale as well as like Karthus or Kindred, so you have to be finding different ways in the mid game to close out games. As far as Sejuani goes, I'd say she's more of a situational pick when you have like a bruiser mid or top. Just having these melee champs can help you proc your E. She's one of the better tanks right now behind Nunu, and she just has a lot of utility, and her ult is very good, long range, and does a lot of damage. I've pretty much 100 to 0 many champs with her once I have my Cinderhulk, and with the Cinderhulk buff, she just clears way more faster. Same with Hecarim, he has been nerfed, but he's still in a really good spot, one of the best bruiser conqueror champs right now. Obviously not as good as like Kindred or Karthus or Nunu. If they win early game, you'll be pretty much a sitting duck compared to them, but he still has a lot of 1v9 potential if it is the right game for him. In the B tier list, we have Rengar, Aatrox, Olaf, Trundle, and Amumu. Starting off with Rengar, I think he's a play to 6 champ, and this again allows them to get 6 more freely, less risks, less fighting, etc. And he's just overall the best champs in the game for getting picks. So if you watch Scrub Noob on stream, I'm sure you know how strong Rengar is. But if you're not as good as him, or not close as his skill level, probably don't pick Rengar. A lot of people see Aatrox as a top laner, but he's one of the few champs all included on this list that's a just as good jungler. He pretty much has infinite sustain. He has a mastery like ultimate where he can just reset his ult, and he just has really overall high base damage and good clear. His only issue is if he gets kited and you can't really dive a backline, then you have issues, but aside from that, he's pretty decent jungler right now. Olaf is another champion similar to Aatrox that has really strong dueling potential, but his issue is if he can dive, but he can get kited once his ult comes down. So stuff like Morgana's Black Shield will just hard counter him, and then once his ult's down, Morgana can like ultimate him into Zanya's, and he's a sitting duck. Aside from that, he has like really good dueling potential, and he can fight really good, easily 1v2 champions, but he's just not really good at the late game stage. So similar to Trundle and Amumu, these two champs are really strong late game, but their early games are weaker. So Olaf could easily 1v2 these champions pre-6 against Trundle. But Tarzaned and Amumu are just really good at scaling, and lower elo games are also really good. Same with high elo, but they're mostly used for counter picks. In the C tier, we have Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, Elise, Rek'Sai, and Italy. So basically all these champs are the godsend carry junglers that are really strong early game in Korea, regions like that love fighting. But now they just are weaker and have harder times fighting because their red side clears aren't as strong, and they've either been nerfed or they're just not as good in this meta. The only champ that maybe boost up on this list is Rek'Sai or Nidalee, or maybe even Lee Sin, but the other ones are for sure C tier for NA solo queue. Basically, all these champions offer is a lot of damage early game, but they just don't scale at all. The only champion that could potentially scale and isn't really used for early game will be Nidalee, and she'd be more of a situational pick similar to Amumu and Trundle. For the D tier, we have Grace, Nocturne, Zac, and Gragas. So these are like the worst junglers, and as a disclaimer, if your favorite jungler is not on this list, it's because no one really plays them in higher elos, like Udi or Shaco, barely played unless you're Chase Shaco. Not even worth it in that case, just kidding. But for Graves, his issue has been the fact that he doesn't get rewarded for power farming and counter jungling. And yes, this patch is better for him, but honestly, I'd only pick Graves to go for a double crab against weaker junglers, so I don't even know why you'd ever pick Graves right now. He needs to be reworked or just perma-buff forever. Nocturne's a champ you'd expect to be buffed from these changes. Yes, he's a very good farm to 6 jungler. Once he has his ulti, he gets this huge power spike, but it's just a lot more junglers that are more efficient at doing that, and his dueling isn't as good as the other ones. So either be a counter pick or more vision denial from his ultimate, setting up like an Ornn or something. Zac and Gragas are really similar champs. They're both AP heavy, and they just dive really hard, and they're just really more kiteable, and they just do less than the other champs above them in the list. Other champions like Evelyn can go in and out of a fight. Once Zac and Gragas are commit, they really can't get out. Gragas can use like Zhonya's and get his E cooldown up back, but other than that, they're just really useless compared to other champions. For the low elo tier list, I'll go over it really fast because there's not much to talk about. The champs kind of speak for themselves. S tier, we have Nunu, Rammus, Amumu, and Trundle. So all these champs are really easy to play. They take no mechanical skill whatsoever. Only thing it says maybe like Trundle's pillar timing. The rest are just really super simple, efficient, easy to play, high base damage. So you could be carrying 2 playing these champions. These champions are great into carry junglers because you'll just outscale them and be more useful even from behind, and you'll just have a way higher chance of winning games if that's what you care about. If you don't and you want to be a better jungler, get to diamond, etc., then play the other champs in the high low tier list, but you'll have way harder time learning and being efficient. For the A tier, we have Sejuani, Vi, Volibear, and Karthus. All these champions in the A tier list are just like a lesser version of the champions in the S tier list, except from Karthus. Karthus isn't really a champ you would pick if you're trying to get better at the game. He's just a champ you pick to climb, pretty much. If you want to win with Karthus, he's a perfect example. You just clear your jungle, reverse clear like I said over before, and just press R when you have to. But you don't really learn much from the game, so that's why I don't really recommend him, but if you want to play him, feel free. For the B tier list, we have Skarner, Hecarim, and Jax. As far as Skarner goes, he's a really simple, easy, effective champion in lower elos. Everyone knows how to play off his ultimate, they know what it does. So as far as his utility goes, basically just an ultimate, and Predator Rune is really, or Keystone is really weak right now, so I don't even know if he's that worth playing. You could go like Conqueror or Aftershock with Ghost or something, I don't really know. Hecarim is still really good for lower elos. You'd have a harder time carrying games, but he's still very efficient, very good. He beats all the other junglers 1v1 if they're low elo players, and you're just really strong either way. As far as Jax goes, he's like a pre-6 version of Skarner, a bit stronger, decent clear. You can go Cinderhulk or Blood Razor, whatever you prefer. Doesn't really matter. Very simple, efficient, easy champion. For the C tier list, we have Fiddlesticks, Shyvana, and Mastery. As far as Fiddlesticks goes, he's just like a weaker version of Karthus. You have to place your ult, you have to be careful, you're way more squishy. You don't want to die on Fiddle, but you want to die on Karthus. That's really like polar opposites, and less utility and less usefulness and less damage. So why play Fiddle when you can play Karthus, you know? Same with Shyvana, she can't be played on hit anymore. You have to play her a full AP, and she will be only useful in Dragon form, where she can use her, her E long range Dragon Breath, whatever it's called. And I don't know, I just don't see the point of playing any of these champions when there's better options, unless you like playing them. It would be C tier on the list. As far as Mastery goes, just wait for the changes that are coming forth. Unless you have like a funnel duo, he is pretty terrible. For the D tier list, we have Wukong and Udyr. So let me explain. As far as Wukong goes, same version of Fiddlesticks. He's better top laner, I'd say, but he's just like the AD caster, bad clear, no sustain, can't do Drakes, can't do Rift Herald. He's just really weak and takes way too long to do those. As far as Udyr goes, however, I'd say he was only useful for the Scuttle Crab, era. But obviously, if you're playing lower elos, you can probably still get crab. So I don't even know if he would be D tier, but he just doesn't allow snowballing as much. You'll be slower on the snowball. And I don't know, unless you're playing like the Tiger form Udyr, I don't see the point of playing Udyr at all anymore. That's it for our tier list, guys. I really hope you enjoy. I put a lot of work in these, so if you can like, subscribe, comment, whatever, everything really works. I'll be making a lot more educational videos after hitting rank 1. We have a lot to go over, helping you guys climb on your own. So thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and have a great day.